Hello, my name is Tony. I'll establish clarity from the outset. Sleuth is the ultimate in lovingly crafted translations of stage plays into the versatile language of cinema. It's a two-hander, just Laurence Olivier and Michael Caine, and no one else really. It's set in one location. It does nothing special to conceal its theatrical origins. In fact, they're writ large. And it's absolutely 100% 24-carat laser-polished diamante dazzling. And all I need to do is run down the plot content and tell you why. Easy. Well, yes and no. Yes, because I already know why it's great. No, because I am consciously biased towards it, and being objective therefore presents something of a problem. Let's see how it goes though, shall we? The film is based on a stage play by Anthony Shaffer, who scripted, and is the last to be directed by Hollywood legend Joseph L. Mankiewicz. It boasts a jaunty score by John Addison and glowing cinematography from the prolific Oswald Morris. Ken Adams' production and set design is abso-bloody-lutely gorgeous, but it's the writing, the characterization, the acting, and the joyously macabre and mischievous twists and turns that make it so special. So much so that if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend skipping the following plot rundown and just head to the concluding analysis, because it's going to be one big fucking spoiler otherwise, I promise you. You know how these days you get trigger warnings before a film or show, sort of highlighting elements the hard of thinking and rational processing might be offended or disturbed by. Scenes of a sexual nature, violence, sexual violence, language and terminology that is outdated and might cause upset, stereotypical depictions of minorities and so on. And there's usually a nice age restriction certification as well. Now some people are a bit peeved by these, they feel annoyed, lectured at and patronised, but not me matey. I realise it serves two very important functions. One, it's a case of the broadcaster, streamer, publisher covering their asses in the event of any flaky, resilience-challenged dipshit complaining, whining, self-harming or having a meltdown. It's a handy defence mechanism against cancellation. Well, we told you what you were getting, and if such things are distressing for you, why'd you fucking watch? You're stone-cold stupid and masochistic as well as terminally inadequate. Smart move, I think. And two, for me, it's a fucking useful rundown of all the reasons why I would want to see it. Like an added incentive, a little boost to my expectations. So I'm all in favour of it, man. Keep it up. Sleuth on Talking Pictures TV draws a hit for language and outdated terminology that some might find offensive. There is no sex, gratuitous violence, explicit nudity, or otherwise controversial content. So unless unfiltered genius is something a person finds hard to tolerate without having a mind fart, and it is something modern audiences will find alien to them and perhaps shocking to the old system, then it's all plain sailing. Murder mystery novelist Andrew White, Laurence Olivier, invites hairdresser Milo Tyndall, Michael Caine, to a meeting at his isolated country manor house. Milo is the lover of Andrew's wife, Marguerite. Andrew is a pompous egotist with a superiority complex and scathing contempt for those of a lower class, and especially of foreign origin. Two boxes Milo ticks by being a child of poverty and of Italian descent. Andrew's sumptuous home is filled with detective memorabilia, Victoriana, games, penny arcade and toy shop automata. His many detective novels boast an aristocratic sleuth, St. John Lord Merrydew, and policemen who are routinely clueless bumbling idiots, echoing established tropes from the works of Conan Doyle, Agatha Christie and Dorothy L. Sayers. Initially, Andrew insists he's happy to give Marguerite a divorce and for Milo to take her off his hands, so he can be free to set up house with his mistress Taya. His concern is that Milo may not have the financial resources to keep his wife in the lavish style to which he is accustomed, and she'll soon come back sniffing round for money. He proposes that he and Milo stage a burglary, stealing Marguerite's jewellery. Andrew will claim the insurance and Milo can sell the goods to a fence Andrew knows in Amsterdam. So begins an increasingly bizarre game of cat and mouse in which Andrew persuades Milo to dress up in a clown costume as a disguise, blows his own safe, then reveals his true intention, which is to shoot Milo dead under the pretext of disturbing him during a break-in. Humiliated and in tears, begging for his life, Milo is seemingly shot in the back of the head. Later, Andrew is visited at home by Detective Inspector Doppler, billed on the small cast list as being played by one Alec Cawthorne. Doppler is investigating the case of a missing person, Milo Tyndall. As he wanders and snoops around Andrew's home asking questions, making thinly veiled allegations and gathering clues, Andrew crumbles under pressure and tells the true story, swearing that he fired a blanket at Milo, who regained consciousness and left alive and well. There is an incriminating grave in the garden, dried blood on the staircase, Milo's clothing hidden in Andrew's wardrobe. In a tussle, Doppler subdues a panicked Andrew, then strips off his makeup, revealing himself to be Milo in disguise. Milo tells Andrew that the game isn't over. He confesses to having strangled Andrew's lover, Taya, and planting 4 clues or incriminating evidence around the house that will see Andrew arrested and tried for the crime. The police are on their way. Andrew initially refuses to believe him until he rings Taya's flatmate, who confirms that she has been found murdered. Milo tells Andrew he has 15 minutes in which to find the 4 pieces of evidence and dispose of them before the fuzz arrive. He provides cryptic clues and mercilessly taunts and torments him as he frantically searches. Finding all the evidence in the nick of time, Andrew composes himself whilst Milo goes to let the police in. Milo returns from the front door alone, explaining that there are no police and Taya is alive. She and her flatmate conspired with Milo to put Andrew through the ringer. He further humiliates Andrew, making fun of his impotence and criticising his writing, an uninspired hero character, misnaming him Mary Dick. Incensed, Andrew pulls a revolver and threatens to kill Milo. Milo informs that he really did go to the police and, anticipating Andrew's likely response, has arranged for them to call round a little later. Andrew doesn't believe him and shoots him in the back. As Milo lies dying, police cars with flashing lights pull up outside. Milo laughs and tells Andrew to tell them it was just a bloody game. Pressing the automata control button, he dies. Andrew locks his door and stands alone, fearful and despairing as his toys and games animate mockingly around him. I'll start with the performances. Rumour has it that Olivier initially considered Kane to be the support act, but soon came to believe and accept that they were equal partners. Both men are astonishingly good, capering, mugging, hamming it up, and seemingly having a whale of a time. Their on-screen interactions and the frantic riffing interplay between them is a combination of passionate enthusiasm and inherent skill. This is screen acting with the theatrics cranked up to the max. Fucking superlative quality, the like of which you will never see replicated by today's stars because they don't have the range, charisma, and sheer dedicated chops to pull it off. When Kane turns up as Inspector Doppler, despite what the cast list says it is him, the main surprise is his West Country accent. Kane, who is not exactly renowned for his accents, does it surprisingly convincingly. You can plainly see it's him in heavy makeup, but on first viewing, you're uncertain if he's playing 2 characters and Milo is in fact dead, or if it's Milo in disguise. It's a clever little puzzler to keep the audience guessing. None of it would work effectively if the director wasn't up to the job. It may have been his last film, but Mankiewicz has such an instinctive feel for the material that the running is as smooth, slick, and seamless as anything you'll ever see. There is a sure grip and consistent narrative flow, a confidence and insight that makes it a triumphant swan song. All the details, in-jokes, the little Easter eggs, the grandiosity, everything is balanced near perfectly on a knife edge between absurdity and stimulating intellect. It never loses its footing. It's a thrilling experience because Mankiewicz is still very much at the top of his game. Schaefer's script crackles with sharp and witty dialogue, lacerating one-liners, revealing of the characters of the 2 men. Andrew is an egocentric snob and bigot, an insufferable, despotic little man living in a fantasy world of games, toys, and class barriers he feels should never be crossed. He is affronted by Milo, not because he has shagged his wife and wants to marry her, but because he doesn't consider him good enough to shag his wife and marry her. He's from poor immigrant stock, a cocky, easy-going hairdresser, a jumped-up nobody who has the absolute temerity to pump and purloin the missus he doesn't like or care for anyway. Worse than that, this interloping wop, or dago as he puts it, claims to be English, the ultimate insult. For him, it's an issue of twisted, irrational principle. Schaefer satirizes so much: the entitled superiority of the upper classes, detective fiction, the class divide, the frivolous pursuits of the rich and privileged, cultural differences flagged up via Cole Porter songs of all things, the theatre itself. But he does it with such compulsive charm and creative guile that he doesn't beat you over the head with it, preach or ram it down your throat. He doesn't need to. He knows about dramatic structure and how to write. This is how you draw attention and make points that resonate, stick, and never alienate the audience. Because once you piss an audience off and lose them, you won't get them back. The screenwriters of the modern age should study this as a textbook example of how to do it. They won't though, because history these days isn't something to learn from. It's something to rewrite, mangle, exploit and misrepresent in a whole different, stunning and brave new image. Fucking Philistines. They remade it in 2007. Kenneth Branagh directed, Harold Pinter scripted using none of Schaefer's original dialogue, Michael Caine starred in the Olivier role, and Jude Law was Milo. It was bland, facile shit. Comparing it to the original is like comparing a rat turd to the Blue Hope Diamond. There is no comparison, unless you're blind and have no sense of touch or smell. To even things out, let us consider what might not recommend Sleuth. Well, it's very stagey, very theatrical, very much in keeping with the spirit of the original play. I don't find that to be a problem, but some might. For me, Ken Adams' set design, the fabulous props, and Morris's lavish lens work keep it visually captivating and dynamic. For some though, I can understand how that might not be enough. Then, both Caine and Olivier live it way larger than life. Their overblown dramatics and camp posturings are completely intentional, and I personally love seeing this pair let off the leash. Might not have the same effect on everybody, just saying. What you get for your buck is a gloriously playful, gleeful, deliciously wicked, sly and stylish, ultra maxed out toy box of a filmed stage play for your very entertainment and edification. Does it for me, pilgrims? Does it do it for you? If you don't already know, only one way to find out. Thank you for your time and attention. Do whatever you want to do. Hit like, don't like, comment, subscribe, be a patron of my Patreon thing, make a financial contribution to keep the wheels turning and the wolf from my door via the thanks button. What's up next? Something I'd wager, by the pricking of my thumbs.
Don't forget. Be sure and tell them it was just a bloody game.